Hello, so I'm just going to pretend I'm talking to the person who was the abbot of the Santa Cruz Zen Center a long time ago who has passed away. So I'll pretend I'm talking to Catherine Thanos, the abbot of the Santa Cruz Zen Center who has passed away. So I'm just wondering how I can improve upon my Zen practice. I found today that I was not in the mood to study Japanese when I got home, so I just did a short little bit of a lesson and then stopped. So I remember there was a conversation um, with you, Abbot Catherine Thanos. We were talking about how we have to pay attention to what we want and what we don't want, what we're attracted to and what we're repelled by. So I'm just thinking I have to pay attention to these things. I was able to read a couple of pages of Les Miserables and study Japanese for just like one little bit of a lesson. And I didn't want to play video games. It's funny, sometimes I really like certain things and other times I really don't like them. And depending on what mood I'm in, I'll go in an entirely different direction from another time, another part of the day when I'm in a different mood. So like sometimes I'll think that like a video game is the best thing in the world, and then another time I'll think it's a waste of time. And I guess some things are like reading Les Miserables has been a pretty consistently like uh, preferable thing. I've always kind of wanted to go back to that, and so that's been like the main book that I've been reading for a long time, for a while now. And studying Japanese seems like I don't know what it symbolizes necessarily, but it symbolizes something important. Really wanting to learn a foreign language and like actually like reading the dictionary, the Japanese English dictionary, reading like specific words. I'm finding specific words in it and learning specific words through a dictionary, an English Japanese dictionary. And another thing, it's funny, like sometimes a lot of the time over the years, I've been really interested in, like composing like music, composing jazz pieces on the piano and things like that. And then like tonight, like I was totally uninterested in music and jazz, and in electronic music. I didn't want to make any music, and I just wanted to kind of like meditate, I guess, just like sit there and with the energy the way it was. And so, I didn't really want to study jazz. I didn't really want to read Les Miserables. I didn't really want to play the piano. So, it's like, I guess that's kind of like um, just like an important part of the Buddhist path. When you get to a point, you kind of change what you prefer. You prefer, just kind of like, I guess you could say like spending more time. You slow down as you spend more time meditating. You don't necessarily, you pay attention to what you want, and you don't just do things for the sake of doing them. Like you really understand the symbolism of every little teeny tiny detail of what you're doing. You understand the symbolism of sitting, of like moving your neck a little bit, of glancing a certain way, of like, the energy. You feel the energy of the piano. You see that you don't want to play the piano. You um, you can really just like understand who or what you are, and who or what you are is love, and unconditional love. And so it's like, there's another theme that was going on today, but I don't know how to talk about it exactly. um, um, I don't want to say the wrong thing, so I'm just being careful with my words. But it's really helpful to try to talk to the abbot of the Santa Cruz Zen Center who has passed away. Try to talk to her her energy in the afterlife, and just address that energy because it's a pure energy. So um, so what am I trying to say? I'm just saying, I've had some success today with my Dharma practice, in terms of like having kind of like consistent awareness of um, the fact that that I'm trying to grasp at true existence when there is no such thing as true existence. And I get, what you would call Satori, what Alan Watts talks about, Satori experiences, and those turn into Samadhi experiences. So it's like a pulsation. It begins with like an emptiness, like a yin emptiness, and then it kind of pulses in a certain kind of a way into another kind of emptiness, and it's hard. I don't know what the terms are or anything, but I wonder about why one person meets with misfortune and another person doesn't meet with misfortune, and it doesn't have anything to do with whether or not they're a good person. And that's kind of the basis of Buddhist philosophy, is that it's not because someone is non-virtuous that they are, well, okay, so supposedly according to Buddhism, everything that's happening to us now is because of karma from previous lifetimes, because of good or bad deeds that we did in previous lifetimes. And that's just those are just words, but they kind of might mean something. And because you can follow a line of inquiry if you debate the Dharma appropriately, properly. You can follow a line of inquiry into a I don't know what to call it, a truth, let's say. You can, if you debate the Dharma properly, you can follow a line of inquiry into a truth, which is it's like astounding, and it's not the way we're used to thinking things are, because the way that things really are is kind of like behind a veil. It's like like what's really real isn't really said, I guess, and I don't know how to say it, but um, um, I mean, if you talk about something like a practice like Zazen, you're talking about an inquiry into Buddhist philosophy in a particular specific way, and they make it super, super like obvious and user friendly so that it's available to everybody. But so many people I mean, what's really the truth is so astoundingly, intensely, crazily out there. What's really the truth of, let's just call it Buddhist philosophy, is so different from what the representations, kind of like the mirages of like what people take as truth. Those are all just like I guess they're misinterpretations, you could say, or um, it's just that everyone's struggling so much and suffering so much that they can't really get to a place where they're not grasping at true existence, if they let go of the idea of true existence, because according to Buddhist philosophy, true existence is not the case. There's no such thing as true existence. Existences are like mirages, and so if you can get the letting go to go on, then there will be an entirely different mode of being. If you can get the pulsation to begin, it's like you you make a little bit of space for emptiness to assert, and it there is the assertion, and then we say, the thing is, it's so incredibly important. It's like life and death serious, and people don't understand. Yeah, because when you realize that everything is happening essentially for reasons which are not, they're not connected to what you usually think of as like the reasons that things happen because of you. It's like it's not really because of the reasons that we think that things are happening because of. It's because of something, what you might call like karma from previous lifetimes. It's something you could say, it's like random or arbitrary or absurd, or you could say there's you could call it like fate, and you could say everything is destiny or everything is fated, and that's essentially a God concept. And so it's when you say everything is destiny, it's not really the truth, because it's almost kind of like the opposite. Everything is not destiny. Everything is completely. Well, I mean, I think that's what dependent origination is. Dependent origination is um, a term in Tibetan Buddhism which describes something like the B theory of time in physics. And so that means I think it's also called the block theory of time, which means that the past, present, and future have all occurred are all occurring simultaneously. Um, Yeah, I wonder about why do things occur, and there's two things going on. One of them is there's the idea that I'm a self, that I'm a human, that I'm Jeremiah, that I'm a person. And the other is that if I let go of this, there's the occurrence going on by itself, and that's separate from the idea that I'm Jeremiah, that I'm a person, that I'm a human living a life. The what goes on, if I completely let go of that, which is essentially what Sojin Mel Weitzman the abbot of the Berkeley Zen Center said. He said Zen practice is like suicide. That's what it is. It's letting go of the idea that you're a self, because bodhisattvas realize the selflessness of a person, and then they realize the selflessness of phenomena. And so when you see that there's it's like that the views of the selfhood are extraneous, when you really can let go of them and understand what this is, then there is something which takes place which is extraordinary, and you can go into this realization of the Buddhist Dharma as far as you want. You can keep going more and more endlessly. You can just realize the truth of what seems to be a human lifetime, what that is really truthfully, and it's something outside of the bounds of what we're used to thinking it is completely.